Okay, we'll call the rules meeting to order. If council, you will have a seat. Councilor Hargis, would you bless the meeting?
You'll all stand, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for the beautiful weather that you have blessed us with. Lord, we ask you to guide this meeting, guide our thoughts and our actions, and to do what is best for the Cherokee people. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilor Hargis. Shelley, you please do roll call.
Yes, sir. Joe Byrd.
On in.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Bill England. Keith Austin. Here. Jack Baker. Here. Harley Buzzard. Here. Sean Crittenden. John Garvin. Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Here. Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Janice Taylor. Here. David Thornton. Victoria Vesquez. David Walkenstick. Brian Warner. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The minutes were mailed to you at this time. I entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Reports, Marshall.
Good morning.
Morning.
Besides the reports, some of you have noticed the flags that the tribe are at half staff. It's for Police Week. It's kind of a week that we honor fallen officers that have died in the line of duty. It's going on in D.C. right now and around your community. So that's, if you have a question about that, that's what that is. I'll let you know we have 11 Cherokee Marshals on the Federal Memorial Wall. 10 of the 11 were killed around statehood and a little bit before statehood when the U.S. Marshals were being killed when this was Indian territories. And then we have one Marshal that was killed more recently. It was Mr. Black Fox. He was killed in a motor vehicle accident back in the early 2000s. So, other than that, if there's any questions on the reports or anything I can help with, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Any questions for our Marshal? Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Office of Attorney General, Todd Hembrecht.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the committees are running behind when we recently reported to the Rules Committee, so there's no new activity from the Attorney General's office. We would entertain any questions that the committee may have.
Any questions for our AG? Yes, Councilor Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Got something just put down on the desk from the Election Commission. Are you going to stick around for a little while?
I am at your service.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? All of our litigation, we're still in about the same?
Yeah, the litigations on each front, briefly I will tell you, there's been no change of status in the Friedman case, still waiting a decision from Judge Hogan. No status in the UKB case, still waiting a decision from Judge Frizzell. The trust litigation, we are responding to a motion to dismiss by the federal government that we expected. The opioid case, we have service on all of the party defendants and are awaiting their answers. So that's a highlight of the major cases.
Very good. I was talking to Chrissy yesterday on the Lewis versus Clark.
Yes.
That happened on a gaming tribe. That will not affect us at this point?
The effect on Lewis and Clark is to make sure that our errors and omission policies are well documented or well in place. We'd be happy to meet with the tribal council to make sure that the policies that should be in place are in place. We've been doing so with the having these conversations with the treasurer and other officials, but be happy to give a briefing to your council to make sure that everything's copacetic.
Okay. All right. Any more questions? Thank you. Good report. Have Gwen Terrapin with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So far, we have one new request, which is outstanding at this time because the response isn't due until around mid-June. And the website's been updated, and you should have received a copy of the 3 requests that we have so far.
Okay. Any questions? You're doing a good job. You got us caught up.
Thank you.
Sharon Swepston, Tax Commission. Always count on Sharon to be here.
Good morning.
Morning.
I hope my report made it into your packets. I was cutting it right on the line there. So if you have any questions, I will try to address those.
Any questions for our Tax Commission?
Good job.
You're doing a good job. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Self-governance, Karen Ketcher. We do have her report.
She's here, she would come down, I think she just ran a call.
We'll just drop down and come back to her. Gaming Commission, Mr. Jamie Hummingbird. Good to have you here, Jamie.
Good to be here. It's always glad to be seen and heard, and at least my perspective.
Yes. Validated, yes.
Another day, another day. I believe my report is in your packet once again. If you have any other questions, I'll entertain those at this time.
Any questions for Gaming Commission here? Yes, Councilor Austin.
Jamie, in the state legislature, they are trying very hard to find a way to raise some funds, it appears, with gaming as being part of that conversation. You guys, I'm assuming, are keeping a very close eye on that.
Yes, I noticed they had, I think it was Bill 857 that was proposed in the Senate last week. As of Friday, I believe it was, that the Democratic leadership and the Senate leadership have declined to move forward with that bill. There was another effort, I believe, yesterday to salvage some type of that language within a bill to go forward this week, but as of last night, what I heard was that that bill has been dropped.
If it was to pass, what would that do?
The way I understand the bill, there were 3 different types of provisions in there. There was one in there that would allow for balls and wheels to be used on some table games, much like craps and roulette. We would have had the kind of an opt-in or accept or not accept. They were calling it a supplement to the compact, where the tribes could elect to do that or not. There was also another provision in there that escapes me right now, but there were some mild provisions, some mild adjustments to our gaming compact. But nothing that would have changed the electronic games or any of the percentages or anything other than some types of table games that would have been offered.
Well, you guys are, I'm sure, keeping a close eye on those kind of activities.
Definitely.
If we can help you guys reaching out to the state, you need to make sure that you involve us.
Understood. Understood.
As you learn something that could be detrimental.
Definitely. If there's anything that I ever come across, I always alert my commissioners. I alert administration as well as the AG's office if there's anything that we think could potentially have an impact on us one way or another.
Thank you.
Are you good? Okay, anybody else? Good report, Jamie.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I saw our self-governance lady walk back in. She's been busy. She's been Seattle and then Northwest, and she's got back from Washington, D.C., and been really looking into all the programs we are not taking advantage of through USDA. So Karen, we appreciate that. We passed that resolution last night.
Yes, I was there. I was waiting to see if it got approved.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You have my report. Does anyone have any questions with regard to it?
Yes, Counselor Buzzer.
Karen, on the first one, the MOU between OSU and Cherokee Nation, does that mean one person, or does it mean any OSU organization throughout our 14-county jurisdiction can apply for that?
I mean, for the position?
Yeah.
Well, this was a program that was for tribes to be able to apply for a position. Actually, we're trying to get the proposal that we submitted is for more than one person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's somebody that would be stationed here.
Stationed right here at the Nation, and that would be able to work with all the 4-H programs and across the 14 counties. The Extension office is like every other office, it's taken a cut. And so they're trying to do as much as they can to supplement what they've got with these programs. And so when this came available, the Extension office called me and wanted to know if the tribe would be interested, and I said certainly. So we worked with them.
And I had an Extension office ask me for some funding the other day too, so certainly this is going to help.
Yes, it will.
And going on to the Veterans Agreement, you said certain health care services. Can you tell me kind of what what it's saying there?
It's direct services when a veteran who is eligible for health benefits through the VA wants to prefers to receive services through our Cherokee Nation clinics or WW Hastings Hospital. It's closer for them to get there. There are a lot of benefits to them to want to go there. So if they prefer to go there, then they can go there, and then we bill the VA for those direct services.
And we've been doing that.
Yes, we have.
We have been doing that.
Yes, we have. And this just extended that for another year.
Okay.
Well, actually for 2 years.
For 2 years, okay. The other question was on the USDA and NRCS. Does that mean if we set up an office here that it would duplicate what we're doing already with the offices throughout the 14 counties as far as brush control, thistle control,
Right now,
control?
Right now, the Nation is not taking advantage of those programs, so we hope to get that office established here. And the resolution that you passed last night will, when I visited with Chad Kaser, he said if you have a conservation district, that's one step, that's the first step. Then if we can get this position, and, well, actually, we're trying to get 2 positions and a clerk. And if we get that, then instead of the tribe having to go up to Choctaw Street, we can just go into our office here, and hopefully, in visiting with them, we'll also get access to the USDA database, so we can enter our properties in there. It'll just be like we're the office uptown, and these people.
I think that's a good program to have here because we have a lot of creeks and streams that run through our nation. Also, the river cane that has been on the forefront about protecting that. So I think it'd be good to have one.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're getting it there.
Any program that's ran through NRCS will be able to do that function here. Hopefully, the resolution that you passed last night was the first step towards getting this position.
And just one more question. Do we have, and you may not have a count on the number of farms that's owned by tribal citizens yet, do you?
No, that's another thing that I've been working on. I've been in contact with NAS, the statistics office in Oklahoma City for the farmers, and they don't have a good count of Native American farmers either. So they've sent me some little cards to pass out to give to our Native American farmers to get them in the USA database. So they'll know how many Native American farmers we have. They don't know. Even USDA doesn't know, and that's one of the things that we hope to accomplish by this is I've actually, I don't know if we'll get approved or not, but I've actually written a little proposal to try to get some funding to use at our community meetings to fund maybe somebody going out and passing out these little things just at our meetings. I don't know if it'll get funded or not, but I'm working.
Yeah, thank you. Will a starting point be see how many farmers tags we have issued?
that's a good starting point. At least we knew how many farm tags, and also Housing Authority. I think when you have a house with them, you turn in financials, and probably if you've turned in your financials, if everybody that has a farm, that files a Schedule F would be in that too. So there'd be some info there also.
Councilor Watkins.
What's the timeline on this taking place as far as getting, I don't know we're at the starting point, but are we looking at 2 years out, 3 years?
It's going to take a little bit to get started. That's the resolution last night was just the first step. I've already been working with Chad Kaser and NRCS to get up, and in the discussions with them, the resolution was the first thing. Establishing a conservation district was the first thing that they asked me for, and so it's.
I assume I have to go through Congress, a presidential budget, allocation of funds to come to the Cherokee Nation instead of the NRCS.
It'll be just kind of like our compact. It doesn't have to go through Congress, or like a contract. It doesn't have to go through Congress. It's just that it has to be approved through, the process has to be established through USDA. There'll be,
What is the federal level?
Pardon?
I mean, at the federal level,
Yes.
at the USDA, which money is appropriated by Congress to USDA,
But
then the money be allocated from the USDA down to the Cherokee Nation instead of the NRCS or state of Oklahoma or
Local state agencies. Instead of them, it'll come directly to us.
The money's already appropriated to
Yeah.
Congress, and there's a certain percent that's set aside for Native Americans, for tribes. We just haven't been accessing those Native American funds. And so what we're trying to do now is to get access to them through contracts with USDA.
Okay.
And it's
a good deal.
contracting process,
It's a good
basically.
deal. I
Process.
Thank you, Speaker.
Welcome. Anybody else? Thank you, Karen. Good report. Dr. Morton, Human Resources.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I submitted a written report. I don't have any major items for this report, but I should have some items for the next meeting. Anyone have any questions or?
You give a good report.
It was a shorter than normal report because
Yeah, we like that.
That's all right.
Anyway, anybody got any questions? Yes, Councilor Crittenden.
Nix and I, we talked in your office the other day and requested an email about the situation, how it all panned out, and I never received that. Was I stepping over my boundaries to ask such a thing?
let me check. For an email of how it ended up or?
Yes.
Okay. And normally it would be something along the lines of had been resolved or it's been taken care of, or, but I'll find out.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Okay, good report.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Councilor Lay?
It doesn't have to do with Mason, that's okay, thank you.
Okay.
But we just got this from the Election Commission down on our desk, I think, as we sit down here. And is anybody here from the Election Commission today?
The report says
they won't be here after the election. There are some interesting items, and I see a handwritten note, and I wonder why they can't be here today to talk about the report. I see one handwritten item here that I'm not sure what it relates to. But I think some of it may, I'm looking at some of this, and I'd like to bring the general back up. There was recently a legal opinion about ballots. And since the Election Commission not here today, I don't know who to talk to except the general.
I'll do my best, sir.
And if you could kind of just give me a layman's idea of what the legal opinion, what the question was, what your legal opinion states.
The question as to,
As to the ballots from the election commission. The election commission asked you a question and you gave a legal opinion.
on last Friday?
Yes, yes, sir.
The opinion last Friday was a question from the election commission saying, on an absentee ballot request, what is the address that the commission should send the ballot to? My opinion in a nutshell was that the commission is bound to send the ballot to the address to which the voter requests that the ballot go to, unless it ascertains directly from the voter that they wish it to be sent to a different address. So, unless they hear from the voter, you go to the four corners of the document and it says send it to address X. You send it to address X.
Was the question because it was different than their home address?
Yeah, the question surrounded that it was different from their home address, and there seemed to be, appeared to be irregularities on the absentee ballot form that raised questions that caused questions to be asked of the voter. So if they ascertained from the voter that they wanted it something different from that document, well, you send it to, we always rely on the voter's wishes. If they weren't able to get a hold of a voter, they still had questions on it, well, that doesn't matter. You have to go to the four corners of the document, and if that address says send it to that address, or that document says send it to that address, you send it to that address. Because in no way, shape, or form did we want to disenfranchise any voter because of a question on an absentee ballot request.
Make sure the ballot got out.
Right.
Yes.
And, okay, did they make phone calls? I mean, we're hearing things that they made
Well,
phone calls
yeah.
or sent letters or what? Do you know?
All I can tell you is this, is that part of the election code is that any questions on investigation, they send it over to the Attorney General's office. That's part of the law. Now, I will tell you that there have been a number of issues that have been sent over to the Attorney General's office to look into. I cannot comment on those. They are all still in the Attorney General's office being investigated.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Walker.
Since you rendered your opinion, has the affected people I've got a list of them, but I know the election's a few weeks out. They still yet to receive their absentee ballots after your opinion was rendered. What does that put the election commission in the window? And because I know 20 people offhand that aren't going to be able to exercise their vote because they're going to be out of town, and they requested absentees. They went through the same process that you rendered opinion on. There were some phone calls made, maybe to clarify that there wasn't any fraudulent behavior that was taking place that sent up the red flags. But since you made your opinion, these people have not received their absentee ballots. So where do we go on?
The opinion was rendered Friday. Hopefully, the Election Commission put those in the mail Saturday. Today is Tuesday. If those individuals, and I would, anybody needs to, they need to check. But if they haven't got it by tomorrow, or the next day, they need to be calling the Election Commission. Make sure that they get the ballot in their hand, get it marked, notarized, and back in the mail.
I guess there's a protest period, I guess, after the election, correct? Like a 5-day window or something that...
I don't know the day frame, but there are. Yeah, there's election challenges and that can be filed.
Okay, thank you. AG,
Councilor Crittenden.
Yes, sir. I had some questions for the commission. Maybe you can answer them. Is there criteria that they use to determine suspicious or fraudulent? Is there criteria, or is it a judgment call?
I can't speak for the commission on what triggers any type of suspicion. All I can tell you is that if they have a question that of suspicious nature that they want, or does it? I don't. Maybe suspicion is even too strong a word. They have a question about the interpretation of the ballot process, if it's operating correctly. By law, they turn it over to my office. And again, I've had several issues be brought over, but I cannot comment on those.
Might be able to answer. What circumstance do they begin to call voters and question their reasons for why it was sent to a particular place? Is that something else?
I cannot comment on that.
And one last one. I don't know that this is happening, but some folks, numerous people were asked to identify their campaign, what campaign worker assisted with their ballot is. Would that even be?
I cannot comment on that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. A.G. Okay, we got through with that. Old business, Councilor Baker.
Yes, I will withdraw this at this time since you and our accountant are working on this.
Okay. Okay, that's been withdrawn. Thank you, Councilor. New business, Councilor Jordan, would you take that?
Yes. This is a resolution confirming the renomination of Glendon Watkins as a board member of the Economic Development Trust Authority Board of Directors, and I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is CMB board or something separate?
Separate.
Like,
Sponsor. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Councilor Walkenstick, you want to take the next one?
Yes, sir. This is an act amending Title 68, the Cherokee Nation Code, annotated the Cherokee Nation Motor Vehicle Licensing and Tax Code. And just reading over it, looks like they're defining what the definition of a farm vehicle is.
Yeah.
So I put that into a form of a motion, and I like to request it by acclamation.
Okay, got a motion by acclamation. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Rex second it.
Yes, I second it.
Okay. All right. Councilor Vasquez.
Yes, sir. This is an act relating to an amendment to the Concurrent Enrollment Scholarship Act of 2011 to revise eligibility requirements, and I put this in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
And Ms. Jennifer Pigeon, would you be able to come up and answer any questions?
Councilor Warner.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Looking at this, the last, yesterday and the months past, there's not one department that comes up here that couldn't use more money. That's a continuing thing that we see because it's a supply and demand. We're increasing numbers of people. We're all out there doing our jobs as council people, so program awareness is at an all-time high. They're sending resource people. I do see this as an attempt to find somewhere that way we can continue to serve a large amount of people. There's a couple of things I love about this. The fact that in Section 4, the Gen Ed required courses are the ones that we're looking at. That's the ones that they need to be taken. They don't need to be taking intro, no offense, John, to guitar or anything like that. but no, those Gen Ed credits. Then that way it helps to tailor what we do at the higher ed level. And I've talked with Jennifer, I've talked with Secretary, I've talked with Mr. Coach Etheridge. when I look at this, I know what we're doing at our state level to education. You know, we're cutting off a limb, you know, basically. I don't want to be seen as us cutting off a limb, but I do see the need to, hey, how are we going to extend this to as many people as we can and continue these programs? My agenda always coming into this was to be flexible with the times and the changes that we undergo. I'm opposed to cutting it off to juniors in the fall semester. I think we ought to hit the juniors fall and spring. I think we ought to hit the seniors fall and spring. I am for cutting it back to 6 credit hours. I think that makes it more manageable. And also, when I look at it, you know, the scholarship dollars, $250 for 3 credits, $500 for up to 6. I kind of am one of those guys, I like, you know, those are round numbers, but I look at it $100 per credit hour up to 6 credit hours. You know, and I like the fact that if there's any money left over, we send it back to college resources. Those are some of the things that I'm looking at. I know we've got numbers here. NSU, you've got different variables here because of the different institutions that are involved. And you've got different tuitions, you've got different fees. I can tell you from experience that fees and tuition are going to continue to go up. That's, you know, it's part of the economics of the situation that we're in. I know what ours are going up, and it's a respectable amount. It's not, you know, it's not a 25% increase. It's something. I know at Carl Albert, you're getting the Cherokee Nation's getting the most bang for their buck right there. Because a lot of times, the way I've done my calculations, there's probably going to be some money sent right back to college resources. Okay. Some of the other instances, I'm a proud alumni from NSU, you know, and I know it's a little more expensive to go there. I think if we tailor down, I'm one of those, let's give it a shot. If we have to, we come back in and we change it a little bit later. But those are some of my concerns right now, and I'll gladly let anybody else talk. Thank you.
Yes, we had Councilor Crittenden.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm like Brian. I like some of the things in here. Just simply, as he mentioned about the state, we're the Cherokee Nation. We got money. I know I talk about education a lot. Cherokee Nation talks about education a lot. But marking out that 9 and putting a 6, to me, don't seem what the Cherokee Nation is all about. And the changes to the junior situation I don't like, but I won't be supporting this simply because education is everyone's top priority, and that's going in the wrong direction, marking a 9 out and putting a 6, in my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Thornton.
Yeah, just to ask a question, I can't read it in here. Click on section D. Does this cover a student that didn't receive a scholarship after they got out of high school, but they want to apply now?
So high school.
Does this not cover anyone like that? I can't be for this. We've got too many students that's got their application in late or something messed up to where they couldn't get their application in. And now they've set up there and went to Northeastern for a year and they can't apply for this scholarship?
This is for high school.
High school, juniors and seniors.
Okay.
Concurrent enrollment.
Concurrent enrollment, and then that's separate from the Cherokee Nation undergraduate and graduate scholarships. This is separate from the Cherokee Nation undergraduate scholarship.
This is just concurrent.
This is when
Just
you're,
for-
this is during high school, that if you're making certain grades, you're allowed to take college classes.
Well, what about the people in college?
Those
They
individuals
have
you're
never
speaking of.
gotten this.
The
Do they
one,
not qualify for 2,000?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
They can apply for
Yes.
that too.
I can be for it.
Well, that was a big deal.
Thank you.
Yes. Counselor Walkinsett.
Thanks, Speaker. I commend Jennifer and Ron for you guys working on this, and I understand that, like Speaker Byrd said, there's an increase of tribal members, we have increase of services, and that occurs cost. But Cherokee Nation comes out with a $2.5 billion economic impact. Okay, we're looking at $500,000 for a program. What's that to $2.5 billion? But going back to what Council Warner says, good words from a guy that is hands-on with higher education students on a day-to-day basis. I deal with high school, secondary students on a day-to-day basis. And knowing what these needs are and what these kids get out of this program is phenomenal. There was a kid at Sequoia High School that came out with 60 college credit hours because we was able to assist them with concurrent enrollment. There's a lot of kids knocked their whole freshman year out before they even get into their freshman year in college. Now, to be a junior and to take concurrent enrollment, you got to have your stuff together. You got to have a 23 on your ACT. You got to have a very high GPA. I'm not for cutting education. I understand budget concerns, increase of cost, but I also see charitable contributions, a lot of money going out elsewhere, that we need to be focusing our resources carefully and prioritizing certain things such as education, such as concurrent enrollment. The good thing about concurrent enrollment is that it saves us money as a Cherokee Nation. When you look at an undergraduate scholarship of $4,000 and they're getting 12 college credit hours, I guess it'd be 24, yes, 24 college credit hours. We're spending at a top cap $500 for 6 credit hours. We're saving money on the back end of this entire program. It's saving the tribe money. It's saving us a $4,000 higher education scholarship when this kid's a senior down the road because he's already knocked out 1 year of college. Great program, Speaker. Of course, we want to hear everyone's discussion on this, but I would like make some friendly amendments to this. But first, I want to hear everyone's discussion before we go on with that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Councilor Lake.
Thank you, Chief. And I'm lucky enough to work, I always say I'm lucky enough to work, I think, with 5 educators on this panel now, and I know these folks do a good job. I've always told them, if you need something, tell us, and we'll see if we can raise our hand and find you. I think some of this probably on, especially Section 4, is financial probably. The other things, I think you've just kind of put things in writing that never was in writing before. I think that's part of it. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
I'd rather find you some more money than go through that Section 4, especially after hearing, from all my educators here. That's kind of where I'm at. And do you know what you would need funding-wise if you kept the 9 instead of the 6?
Not directly. We had kind of reserved that, until after we see where we go today.
Thank you.
Okay.
500,000. That's what you need, 500,000.
That was with 6.
Okay.
Well, Ronna, you and Jennifer, you guys have really gone out there and done your research, and we're trying to, we as a tribe, you've heard the discussions in the past 2 days. More numbers to our nation every day, enrollment. You look at the enrollment that we have, we're dealing with cemetery people wanting more money, more cemeteries, more scholarship, more houses, more health care. That's the nature of being the #1 tribe in the United States. That comes with the territory. One thing, like I told Connie Davis, I don't want to hear is you guys ever come up and say, we're in the red, we've overspent. That's why we are where we are. You guys know how to budget. We appropriate the money, you guys keep us out of the red. And we count on you to do that. You guys have the expertise. That's why we hired you. So let's take care of as many students as we can with the budget that we have. When you see that we need more budget appropriation, then let us know. We'll come back and we'll have this discussion again. But it sounds like you have a reasonable proposal here. It doesn't satisfy everybody, but seem like right now this is probably a pretty good working piece of legislation that can always be amended by this body here. Okay. Everybody ready to vote on this?
I'm going to make a friendly
He
amendment.
said he had some friendlies.
Okay.
Okay. Under Section 5, number G, it says high school juniors will be eligible for the spring semester scholarships. I like to make an amendment to say high school juniors will be eligible for concurrent enrollment. That way, it makes the kid eligible for a fall and spring enrollment. And also for the dollar amount under Section F, I like to strike out the $250 for 3 credit hours and $500 for 6 credit hours. I like to amend it to say eligibility requirements shall receive a scholarship of $100 per credit hour up to 6 credit hours concurrently enrolled each semester. So instead of $250 for 3 hours, it'll be $100 per credit hour. So it'll be $300. And
Jennifer, what do you think about that? What does that do to your calculations?
Do we know where we're going with hours? Are we going to stay at 6 or 9?
it's going to stay at 6.
At 6.
Yep.
Okay. Secretary, you have an opinion on that?
And
If you
Speaker,
get
I'd like to
that
put that form of a motion.
Okay.
Go $100.
It's a friendly.
You're friendly to her.
A friendly, do you accept?
With your approval, I'll accept it.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
We'll kind of need to look at that a little bit more, see where that's going to put us.
Okay.
Do we need to table this for a month?
I think we're good.
Okay. So are we gonna
Yeah.
accept that?
Who's the
Okay.
second?
Yeah.
Who's the second on it?
You offered a friendly, she made the motion.
But the second has to accept it as well, right?
Frankie, were you the second?
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, you got a motion and second,
Wait.
and you've got a friendly.
On the friendly, rather than changing item G, I think item G should just be stricken. Because we say in F that junior and senior.
Okay.
So strike G.
I accept that if it's, or that's you.
I accept it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's a decent compromise. Yes, Councilor Lay?
And I guess I still have the question on the funding to leave it at 9. I believe that's what it is now. Is that correct?
Yes.
To leave it at 9 and not go to 6, what does that do with your funding? And do you have that figure, Jennifer?
No, we're not ready for 9 hours.
You're not ready as to,
Yeah, what that request would be, we'd come back to you with that.
so you know what your funding is now?
Mhm.
And so you're still good with the $100 per credit hour? On what was it, F?
Yes.
F.
You're still good with that on your funding? And so when you go back, if somebody wanted to make a friendly to take it to 9 hours instead of the 6 that you're proposing, does that blow your budget?
It will.
How much does that blow your budget?
That would pay tuition for all the seniors, where right now with 6 hours, we would only be paying books and fees. So we'd have an increase of tuition of around, if they're at NSU, $500 tuition, fees, and books. And with, I believe we had 40 students that were at 9 hours this semester. or wanted to be at 9 hours this semester, so it would have a significant impact.
And-
We do that times 2 semesters.
And I guess what I'm asking for is how much, and can we find it somewhere? Looking at the money lady right now, so. How much would that be on the funding?
My guess would be an additional maybe 50,000, 60,000.
And here's where I'm at, and you guys have heard me say this before, I'd rather catch them on the front end. We don't have to take care of it on the back end. And so we get these kids through school or training or whatever they're doing, they'll take care of themselves, and we probably, won't see them on the back end. And that's, I think, where I'd rather be. I'd rather spend my money up front if I've got it to spend. Is there?
We have a motion, then you have a second friendly. Do you accept this friendly?
I'm not sure I understand what his friendly is.
I'm talking about walking sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're okay.
And you accept that? Okay.
I want to make friendly to keep it at 9, and I'm not sure exactly where that's at in here. You're talking about bumping it to 6. E, okay. There it is. I'd like to keep it at 9 and delete the 6. I'll make that a friendly and see if that flies.
Okay. Do you accept the friendly?
Yeah, what if there's no opposition from you? Okay.
She doesn't accept the friendly, so what's the next step, Jack?
She didn't?
I did.
She accepted.
Yes.
You accept the friendly?
Yes.
Okay, with Dix, okay.
We remain at 9.
Well, it's too late for me to say what I was going to say, so.
Okay, you got a motion with the friendly?
But I have a question.
Yes.
We changed it to 9 and E, but what does that do to F where we're allocating the money for 3 hours and 6 hours?
Yes.
You
We're
have
not,
to change that to 9 hours.
Be up to 9 hours instead of up to 6 hours.
So that changes his friendly.
Yes.
From 6 to 9.
Yes, yes.
Change the 6 to a 9.
6.
And change the 6 to a 9 on that.
which would be his other friendly for $100 per hour, and it would be
Up to 9 hours.
Right.
It's $100 for 9 hours.
Said we have no more friendlies.
You guys are too friendly. Okay, how we doing there, Jennifer? Can we get there with that?
We will kind of, I believe we can. It'll be a little bit tougher than what we had anticipated. And so as the applications roll in, we'll come to you, with updates. I know we have, I believe, 40 applications on hand already.
And come to us if you need us. You know where we're at.
Yeah, because we'll have to give you kind of regular updates. So you may get them through emails to kind of let you know where we're going and how those applications are looking.
Okay.
This is a, Chip Speaker, this is a cost savings. If we're allocating $14 million under undergraduate scholarships, this is a cost savings to us on the back end of this. So I think this is a win-win.
Yes, Counselor Taylor.
I just want to make the comment that when you get into a high school senior graduating with 36 hours of college credit, you're going to be outside these core classes, and they're going to find that a lot of those hours do not transfer to their school of choice. And so when you talk about cost savings on the back end, you're not gonna realize those savings.
I mean, if you're taking a general college algebra course, I mean, What
It's
type
not
of,
always going to transfer.
really?
Yeah.
The only problem that I have, and I've sent 3 kids to school, is that we're not letting them be high school students. That's my only little concern. We're letting them be college students at juniors, at the age junior. And some of our kids aren't mature enough to even handle that. And we're not letting them be high schoolers. That's my only little concern right there. The others probably outweigh that. But when I was a junior, some of you might have been the exception, I wanted to be in high school. I didn't want to be at Northeastern or Carl Albert or Durango taking concurrent. I wanted to be a high school student. That's what I needed. So anyway, we've come a long ways, and we got a motion, 2 friendlies accepted, so let's vote on it. And we're good, Jennifer? If we have to come back and amend this later, we will, if it's not working, okay?
By acclamation. Act.
Are you sure you want to do by acclamation?
Sure.
Okay. By acclamation, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Speaker, I'd like to amend the agenda to include one item. It's concerning something we've passed previously, but there's been some changes to it's to the TSET grant. And if Chrissy.
Do we have it in front of us?
Yes. Chrissy can explain what was needed.
This is the 3rd time this has come to council. This is a grant for tobacco prevention in the amount of somewhere around $300,000. The last time it came up, we did not have a finalized contract because we were still going back and forth with the state on some language. But it was presented to council, and you all passed it anyway upon the AG's office and the chief approving that final language. That resolution said that you were approving the attached contract, and because it wasn't final, there wasn't an attached contract. So now the state is saying that that waiver isn't acceptable because the contract wasn't finalized. So they have asked us to come back to council to get a waiver of sovereign immunity, and it's only as to the grant. So if we took this $300,000 and didn't spend it the way that we were supposed to, they would be able to sue us to recover the money, but not for anything else. But this is a grant that we want. We have programs lined up ready to go. It's in public schools and in the community to prevent youth tobacco usage. But we are at the mercy of the state. They're saying this is what you have to do to get this money. So, and because it contains language with a waiver, we have to come back to tribal council with it.
Move for its approval.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second? Any more discussion? Yes.
Did we vote to amend the agenda?
Oh, we did not. Sorry.
Oh, you got a motion to, is that what
To
you're doing?
amend the agenda first.
Okay, well, you have a motion, a
Second.
second to amend the agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Now, motion to approve for this approval.
Okay, you got a motion to approve, you got a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, Chrissy, you
Thank
did
you.
good.
Hopefully we won't have to come back.
Well, 3rd time, I don't know. Okay, any announcements? Next meeting date, hopefully June 20th, 1 o'clock.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We're adjourned.